Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new, and welcome to another 24-hour reading vlog. So it is Monday the 18th of July, and so far this month I have read one book. This is just not on. I am not having it. I need to read more in the month of July. It is absolutely ridiculous that I've read a single book in, nearly 3 weeks now. I had quite an ambitious TBR for this month, and so far I am absolutely failing at getting through it. So today I've decided I'm going to do a 24-hour readathon, just me, myself and I'm going to try and get through some of the books on this goddamn TBR. It is absolutely beautiful outside. Like, we're having a heat wave here in Scotland. I think it's like 26 degrees or something, which us Scots are definitely not used to. So my plan is to literally lie out in the garden all day long and read as much as I possibly can going forward into tomorrow. So it is currently 11:45. I am planning to start this readathon at 12 o'clock and go until 12 o'clock tomorrow. And I've chosen some sort of summery looking books for my TBR because summer. I've got a couple of shorter ones in here, which I don't usually do, but people seem to do that and it seems to be a very good tactic for getting more read in a 24-hour period. So we're giving it a go today. I have two books here that are on the shorter side, both recommended to me by Leah. Her book recommendations are simply stunning, so I'm hoping to absolutely love these ones. First of all, I've got Untold Night and Day by Bae Sua. This one is like 150 pages long, so I should definitely get through this one. I then have On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. This one is 240 pages, so again should be a nice quick read, although this one I'm pretty sure is going to make me sob, which isn't really summer vibes, but I want to read it, so we're including it in the TBR. And then I have two more sort of like average size books, both summer romances, which I'm definitely in the mood for. As soon as the sun comes out, I want a good like holiday romance to read. So I've got Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy, and I have got Book Lovers by Emily Henry, and I am so excited about both of these romances. Like, I'm really hoping to love them. I've heard really good things about them both, particularly Book Lovers. I have yet to read an Emily Henry book, and this seems to be the one that everyone is going on about. Obviously it's her newest one, but everyone's saying it's like her best one yet, so I'm buzzing. So yeah, those are the 4 books on my little TBR for this 24-hour period. Hopefully we can get through, I mean, minimum of 3, but I'd really like to read them all. We shall see how doable that is considering how little reading I have been doing this month so far. But yeah, like I said, it is now 11:45, so I think I'm gonna go outside, get myself situated in the garden, get myself comfy and get ready to start the readathon. I actually am not sure which one I want to start with. I'm tempted to start with the smallest one so I can just like bang that out and then feel really good about myself and feel like really motivated to continue with the readathon. That is usually my tactic. I read the shortest one first and then I read it quite fast, and then it makes me like feel really like excited to continue. So I feel like I'm either gonna read one of these two, like one of the shortest ones first, and then we'll see how I feel afterwards. But I'll have a little think and I will get back to you on that one. Alright guys, the first hour is done. I mean, it's been more than an hour, but I've done my first hour of this 24-hour readathon, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it might be too hot. I don't know how long I'm gonna last out there in this heat. I am not used to this. This is like unreal heat wave for me. I have been reading. I think I've been reading at a much slower pace than usual though, because it's just too damn hot. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to concentrate on reading a book when it's hot. But I have read 46 pages so far, and I did start with Untold Night and Day. I am really enjoying this one. I don't know if you can actually see, but I'm tabbing it a lot. because the writing in this is just absolutely stunning. I basically want to underline like every single line because it's just unreal. It's so beautifully written. It is described as a fever dream, and that is definitely exactly what it is. Like, to be honest, it's actually pretty perfect to be reading in this weather because that's the kind of weather that they're experiencing in this book. Like, in this book, this girl Ayami, who we're following, it's basically her experience as she is finishing up her job at this audio theatre that she works at that is being shut down, and we're following her over, like, assuming, so far it seems to have been a couple of days, but then it's also really confusing. Like, the timeline in this is very confusing. The characters, basically everything in this is just very confused, and a lot of that is seen to be like put down to the heat in this book, that it makes everything like a little bit of a mirage, everything a bit of a fever dream, everything is kind of confused and warped. There's a lot of repetition in this that is obviously intentional. Like, there's like 3 lines in a row that are then repeated like however many pages later, and then there's things that certain characters say that then another character says the exact same thing, or a certain character says it but then later on it's someone else that refers to it. It's really difficult to explain, but basically just everything is very warped and confused, and you don't really know who's saying what, who is doing what characters are actually there, and how much of this is like a fever dream. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this, but that's exactly what it is. It's just like utter chaos, like in the sweltering heat of Seoul, I believe. It says in this, unfolding over a night and a day in the sweltering summer heat, their world's order gives way to chaos. The edges of reality start to fray, and the past intrudes on the present in increasingly disorientating ways. It is a hallucinatory feat of storytelling. That is exactly how I would describe it. So far, it's just so weird and confusing and warped and disorientated. Like, you don't really know if you're coming or going. It's an experience is what I'd say. And also I really like the way that the author plays with senses in this. Like, I think it's a woman. Oh my god, is the author a man or a woman? Woman. Okay, the author in this kind of like confuses the senses a bit and mixes up the senses. Like, she talks a lot about lip reading, and there's like a line where she's on the phone to someone and she says she could see her speaking even though she's on the other end of the phone line. And there's a lot of things like that where like senses are kind of skewed, places are skewed, time is skewed. It's just all just a hallucination. Like, it's mad. It's completely mad. But I am really enjoying it. Obviously, I only read like 46 pages in an hour there, but I was also like getting water, just like lying in the heat. So we'll see how fast I read this. I will probably finish this off before I speak to you next. And then because this one has been more on like the sort of intellectual, confusing side, I think I'll pick up one of the romances next. I might pick up Book Lovers because I am really excited to read that one. Like I said, I've heard so many good things. So I think I'll finish off this one and then go on to Book Lovers. Okay, it has now been just over 4 hours and I have officially finished my first book of this little readathon, which was of course Untold Night and Day. I don't know why this took me 4 hours to read. Usually on a normal day I feel like a book that is 150 pages long should take me no more than 3 maximum, but on a day like today I swear I'm just reading at a much slower pace because I'm spending most of my energy trying to deal with the heat, and I know I need to stop complaining because people are used to much hotter conditions than this. I am just like a regular Scottish gal who's not used to this. So that's gonna be my last complaint about the heat. Let's continue with the vlog. I am giving this book 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely no doubt about it. This book is incredible. Like, one of the most unique books I've ever read. I've always say how much I love like a weird fever dream type book, and this one is definitely that. To read this book is like dreaming. Like, in the same way that you know if you're dreaming and you go from like one place to another within like a step or whatever, and in the dream it makes complete sense, like the way the scene shifts from one scene to another, but then when you wake up you're like, well, obviously that doesn't make any sense at all. That is totally weird and totally a dream. And then in your dreams, like, you might have a person who throughout the dream will look like one person, and then they'll look like someone else, and they'll look like someone else, but in the dream you know it is the same person, and then obviously when you wake up you're like, well no, that was like 3 different people, but in the dream you know who it is. That is what this book is like. Nothing is static in this book. Like, characters, time, senses, words, everything is in flux, everything is disorientated, everything is sort of like fluid. It is, to begin with, extremely confusing, but then I feel like once you get into the sort of style of this book, it just sort of all flows. It's like one hypnotic journey. You're not going to understand what this book is like until you read it yourself. Like, someone explaining it to you is never going to be the same as the experience of actually reading this book. So please just go read it. It also has some absolutely beautiful writing in it as well. Like, there are so many lines that I've annotated in this just because, though the book doesn't seem to have like meaning at times because it's so confused and like hallucinatory, there are lines in this that have so much meaning and like really hit hard. It's just, yeah, completely unique, completely crazy, and I absolutely loved it. So now I'm going to switch on to something completely different, and I'm going to pick up Book Lovers by Emily Henry because I feel like it is perfect for the weather that we are currently having, and I feel like I need a break from whatever the heck that book just was and just read like a normal little rom-com, you know? So this one says, Nora is a cutthroat literary agent at the top of her game. Her whole life is books. Charlie is an editor with a gift for creating bestsellers, and he's Nora's work nemesis. Nora has been put through enough breakups to know she's the one men date before finding their happily ever after. Aww. To prevent another dating dud, Nora's sister persuades her to swap her city desk for a month's holiday in Sunshine Falls. It's a small town straight out of a romance novel, but instead of meeting sexy lumberjacks, handsome doctors, or cute bartenders, Nora keeps bumping into Charlie. She's no heroine, he's no hero, so can they take a page out of an entirely different book? Obviously, this sounds like it's enemies to lovers. It sounds like it's fun, sexy, witty. Yeah, I'm so in the mood for this one now. Obviously, this book is 150 pages long and it took me 4 hours, apparently. This one is over double that. I think it's close to like, it's like 373 pages or something. So, yeah. This one could take me a while under current circumstances. I don't actually know how much longer I'm going to last outside, though I may well come in and read with like a fan on me. Not complaining, just stating a fact. So yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure 4 books is going to be possible within this readathon, but I'm having fun. That's what it's all about. That's all about. So, you know, yeah. Let's just get started on this cute, fluffy, fun romance. Quite a bit later now, so it is 9:25, which means we have been reading for about 9 hours and 25 minutes, and I am now on page 201 of Book Lovers. So I've basically just gotten past the halfway mark. I think this book is about 375 pages or so. So yeah, I'm past the halfway mark and I am absolutely loving this one. When it comes to Emily Henry, once again, I have done the thing I do where if an author or a book is severely hyped, I will not pick it up, which is always a stupid mistake that I make because hyped books tend to be books that I absolutely adore. Hyped authors tend to be authors that I love, and I am definitely falling in love with Emily Henry, that is for sure. I am loving this book so much, absolutely adoring the characters. I really love her like witty writing style. She kind of reminds me of like Talia Hibbert, Colleen Hoover, like that sort of like witty writing that I always love. So definitely fast becoming an Emily Henry fan, and I'm definitely gonna have to pick up her other 2 books now, which I've just been putting off for forever. In this one we are following Nora, so it is one perspective. Usually for a romance I prefer a dual perspective, but I'm actually kind of happy just having Nora's perspective in this one. I don't really want Charlie's one. I think it's good as it is, and obviously she is a very like career driven woman for a number of reasons. Like, I do feel like her character is really well written. She's really well rounded. You really understand why she is the way she is, but she is definitely, she has to be in control of everything. She has to like take care of her family, take care of herself. So when it comes to dating, the way she is doesn't really translate well into relationships. So now she's on like this month-long holiday in Sunshine Falls with her sister, and her sister has written a checklist of things that they, but mostly Nora, has to do while they're away, such as skinny dipping, dating two local men, saving a dying business. She's basically written a list of things that main characters do in romance novels when they like go for a trip to like a small like sunshiny town, meet a carpenter, have a romance with him. All of the like really obvious tropes she has written in a to-do list or like a checklist for Nora to do, because they're both obviously book lovers and they are obsessed with romance books and everything in them. And so far, but obviously as we know from the blurb, when Nora gets there, Charlie is there, who is like her work nemesis, but of course he doesn't remain a nemesis for too long. However, there are all sorts of things that are like stopping them from properly letting their guard down for each other or like entering into any sort of relationship, but they do have a lot of like witty banter, quite flirtatious banter, and there's also like this palpable sexual tension between them, which is so good. So yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. I cannot wait to see how this one continues and how like what happens to make Nora finally sort of open up, because there is just such a romantic and like sweet woman inside her, but it is stuck behind this like wall that she has built up around herself, like this facade that she has to keep herself in control, and I really just want her to like let go of that control to begin with, because she like works in publishing as a literary agent and she has like this need for control. She always looks like really on point. She rides her Peloton bike every morning. She kind of reminded me of Sandra Bullock's character in The Proposal. Like it had the same sort of vibe, and in many ways she does still have that same kind of vibe, but obviously it's like it is very different. But yeah, absolutely loving this one so far. Definitely want to finish it tonight before I go to sleep. I'm totally like lost in it, like enthralled in it. I've basically read that whole thing in like one sitting because I did stop for dinner quite quickly after I last spoke to you guys. So yeah, most of that has been read just in one sitting, sitting here in this bed with my fan on me, and I am totally captivated. Absolutely loving this story. So yeah, I think right now though I am gonna have a quick shower, wash my face, because makeup in the sun is just not a vibe at all, so I need to get this off my face. Then I think I'll get myself a little cup of tea, maybe some chocolate, and continue with Book Lovers. Alright guys, we are now halfway through the readathon. I've been reading for 12 hours. Well, I've not been reading for the whole 12 hours, but the readathon has been going for 12 hours. I literally have like about 25 pages left of Book Lovers and I'm so tired. I'm so freaking tired. I think it's the heat, it just makes you so tired, and also I don't tend to stay up late these days, so 12 o'clock is pretty damn late for me, but I'm determined to finish this book before I go to sleep. So I'm just gonna lie here, I'm gonna finish the last 25 pages and then I'll sleep. I finished it. So I think we're on like 12 hours 20 minutes or something along those lines. Yep, 12 hours 20 minutes, and book 2 of this readathon is complete, and it's another 5-star read. I don't know why every time I do readathons I always seem to read all the best books. I seem to give every book like 4 or 5 stars, more often 5 stars. I do think maybe partly that is probably to do with the fact that books are always better when you read them fast or in like one sitting, but also I think I always do just leave the good books for readathons because I know I'll read them quickly and I'll enjoy my time doing the readathon. This was just so good. Absolutely loved Nora as a main character. I thought she was amazing. She was like independent and strong, but she also had a lot to learn about like her emotions and who she really is. I love the bond between her and her sister, and I do think this would be even better to read if you have a sister, which I do not. But if you have a sister, I feel like this would like properly get you in your feels. I loved Charlie as the romantic interest. I loved the way that they like get each other and understand each other. And my favourite thing about this book is 100% just the constant references to books and to reading and to writing for it. Like I always love when a book has that in it, and it's quite self-aware, and this one is definitely like that. Obviously she is like a book agent, wannabe book editor. He is a book editor, so the whole way through they're editing this book and there's all this stuff about obviously the tropes that they're trying to like tick off, and there's just like so much like self-awareness, there's so much about books in this, and it's just perfect, and the ending was just absolutely everything I wanted and more. So yeah, without a doubt, 5 stars, definitely a new favourite romance, and I need to get more Emily Henry in my life because apparently I absolutely adore her writing. But anyway, I think I'm gonna have to go to sleep now because I'm absolutely knackered. I am planning to try and get up early tomorrow and squeeze in another book though before the readathon ends, so fingers crossed, we'll see if I manage. Okay guys, it is the next morning. Where is my phone? So it's currently 9:15, which means we've been reading for 21 hours and 15 minutes, which means I have less than 3 hours to go. So you will have seen this morning I woke up and I started reading The Good Girl Complex by Elle Kennedy, and so far I am really enjoying it. I have read like 20 pages, but I have just literally dropped off my brother's girlfriend at work, so I thought, you know what, this is an excuse for me to just go to a coffee shop, sit in this coffee shop for the next 3 hours and read as much as I possibly can of The Good Girl Complex. So that's what we're doing. I've just arrived at Costa. I thought that person was going to look at me, but they're not, so it's fine. I've just arrived at Costa. I'm going to go and sit and get myself a little iced coffee, and I'm going to read the next 2 hours and 45 minutes and try and read as much of this book as I possibly can. It is like over 350 pages long and I have read 15 so far, so it's not looking great, but let's go read. The readathon is complete. I have been reading for a total of 24 hours, as you will have seen. I did just sit in Costa there and read for like the last 2.5 hours. Got myself a little latte, had a toasty, had a grand old little coffee date by myself, and I read I think about half of Good Girl Complex. So I'm on page 189 and I am obsessed. I am loving this book. It kind of gives me After vibes. Like basically we follow Mac and Cooper lives in like this little town. He's very much like a little townie. He's like struggles for money, all of that jazz. And then Mac is someone who's like been born into money, and like all of her friends have been born into money. All of her sort of people go to the university near this town, and there was like a very stark like class divide, and her boyfriend is a bit of an a-hole, and right at the beginning he gets into like a fight with Cooper, and then we realise how much of a bastard he is, and then we go to Mac's side where he's acting all cute like he's like the perfect boyfriend. He says that his bruises are from like a basketball thing, and she has no idea like how bad he is. And then Cooper, this is what gives me the After vibes, Cooper and his friends decide in order to get one up on Preston, Mac's boyfriend, he should date Mac and then take her off of Preston and then like break her heart in front of Preston. So this is where the kind of like After vibes come in, because it starts with like a dare, which I'm assuming is going to come out at some point and it's going to cause havoc. But at the moment it's just so good. Like Cooper, he's a fitty. The sexual tension between these two is unreal. Again, we've got more witty banter, and I just love the setting as well of like this little town by the sea. There's like a boardwalk. Yeah, I'm just absolutely loving it, and I cannot wait to finish it. I'm definitely going to finish it today, obviously not in this vlog because the 24 hours are up, but I am going to finish it today. I've got Patreon sprints tonight, so I'll probably finish it on those sprints. But yeah, that is it. We have done the 24-hour readathon. Obviously, I did not read anywhere near as much as I wanted to. We did 2.5 books, and one of those books was teeny. Honestly, I don't really know where all the time went. I swear I usually read at least 3 books, so I'm blaming the sun. But I had a great time nonetheless. I have ticked off a few books from my TBR. All the books I've read have been amazing, so I have had such a fun time, and I hope you have had a good time watching. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them. Let me know if you want more 24-hour reading vlogs. If you do, if you want a particular theme to them or any of that jazz. But if you did make it to the end of this video, then pop the sun emoji down below, because obviously it has been absolutely beautiful, sun shining here, and I have not stopped talking about it. And we've also got a sun on this book cover here as well, so pop that emoji down below just to let me know that you made it to the end of this video and that you enjoyed your time here. But as always, if you did enjoy the video, then do please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe for more bookish content from me. Comment down below with any of your thoughts and feelings. I love you all, and I will see you in my next one.